you sent over, so I'm glad you cut them all out because I was just brainstorming, like, what would I talk about here?
That's okay. And if you want like the brainstorming version printed out,
no,
you're good.
I'm gonna wing it.
Okay, I love it.
Those are always
we
the
will
best.
too. Yes.
Those are always the best.
Just nice and natural, yeah. So you can just pin this on probably to like your collar or anywhere like that.
Cheer her name.
I love it.
I love it.
Yes.
And it's perfectly on the side where everyone will see it. So there you go.
You think maybe this line here is that?
Yeah. Yep, and they're gonna do a mic check for you as well.
And if you want, I just put mine behind me or something too.
Actually, let me see. Do you have like that little pack for it? Let me
Oh,
see.
you put behind you, like you can put in your belt or whatever.
Oh yes, yeah. Okay. Make sure that's on, and then so that's turned on for you, and then yeah, I can just throw it back. Yeah.
Perfect.
And then if you want to like pull your jacket over it, maybe to hide the cord, like, yeah. There you go. Yeah. We're just experts in making it look good. They'll do the sound stuff.
Yeah, they know all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. We're not rolling yet, so we can just kind of warm up a little.
Okay. Okay. Tell me about years you guys.
We're both sophomores again, actually.
Okay.
We're both at St. Mary's, so we love Katie. Yes.
Oh my gosh, I love Katie too. Yeah, I'm the one who talked her into coming to St. Mary's. It had opened once before, and she hadn't applied for it. And then I called her the second time. I said, "It's open. You need to apply for it." And so,
Yeah.
what dorms
love
are you
it.
all in?
I'm in Lamont.
Okay.
I'm in Holy Cross,
Holy Cross,
right down the Ave.
I stayed in, well, I haven't stayed there, but my daughters all went to the camps over there, the fine arts camps, and I loved them, and they always stayed in Holy Cross, which was so, I think they stayed in Lamont's one time, but Lamont's the one that Katie's office is in.
Yes.
Yeah. I think they stayed there one time.
Cool. I'm on the Irish dance team here, and they always host a summer camp.
Do you have to use fake hair, or do you use your own hair?
Back home, they make me use my fake hair. Where I've grown up dancing, it's just like the way they do it, but here, on the dance team here, we all can like have our natural hair, which is so much better.
It's like, yeah, it's so like, wait, I have this naturally. These people are faking it, and not what I'm having to.
Where the hot wig with the bobby pins I put in are like this big. It's insane. It's a whole process. But it's been so fun, and like I love doing it here too.
You've done it like all, growing up. Did you do it?
Since I was 5.
Where are you from?
Minnesota, the Twin Cities.
Whereabouts?
Prior Lake, specifically.
Okay.
Kind of by Shakopee, Eden Prairie.
Okay, my son-in-law is from Darby's husband is from Minnetonka.
Yeah, I'm just south of Minnetonka.
And he and they actually this year they always go up there for Labor Day to go to the lake, which is a couple hours away, but I don't know which lake. There's only 10,000 there.
Right.
But my youngest daughter went with him this time because she just wanted to go to the Minnesota Fair and get
Classic.
Dorothy's cookies.
Sweet Martha's.
Martha's cookies.
Yes.
Dorothy Martha.
Yes.
And there was a write-up in the New Yorker last week about them.
Oh wow.
Really?
Yeah.
They are
They're a
big.
thing. They're
my mom's rival though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She owns. No.
Does she go
Everyone
to the
loves
State
them.
Fair too?
Her business is based in Prior Lake, but she owns a little cookie bakery. She never let me get the Sweet Martha's. But we got them anyways. They are really good because they make them fresh.
What kind of cookies does your mom specialize in?
Frosted and decorated, usually.
So does she does theme ones? Oh, are they waiting for us? Are they waiting for us? We're just talking. We're just getting to know each other.
Yeah. No, this is great. This will help everything go smoother.
I
So
think
this is perfect.
Oh yeah. Is Michael?
I think. Yeah. Are we waiting on Michael? Yeah.
Okay.
Us too?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes.
Cool.
And then we're ready to go. So that's the last one.
Nice.
Awesome.
All right, we're gonna switch quick. So I'll give you mine.
Well, mine. You want mine?
Yes.
I didn't know which two you were talking about.
All right. Hold hand over.
Okay.
Fully hand off. Part 2.
You guys ready to go?
All right.
I think we're ready.
Good idea.
Okay.
Is it better on my shirt or on the collar up here?
Probably.
Or on this right here?
I'd probably put sure. We can test it too. Yeah, on the right hand side. She's actually going to show you the exact and then let's go
Speak it now. Just talk now.
Yeah, sure.
Just cheer for old Notre Dame. Wake up the echoes, cheering her name. Send. Okay.
Thank you.
Go.
I'm going to start whipping out the fight song for Tess. Do you want me to speak into this one as well?
Okay, testing, testing. This is Molly. We're cheering her name. We're so excited. Okay. Molly.
Oh, I was up late waking up Maya because.
Thanks.
Cool. All right.
Love it. Thank you, Michael. Okay, so I'll introduce, and then do you want to do the first question?
Yeah, awesome.
Okay.
Cool.
Is there a camera we look at? Do we just, just look at
we're
you. I
gonna-
can just look at you guys and talk to you.
Which
Yes.
camera are we starting with?
Yeah.
I think we're going to start the introduction here, right?
Yeah, just look at each other like a conversation.
Okay.
You'll figure it out. Okay.
Perfect. Cool. Awesome.
Oh, you guys ready to go? Yeah. All right, I'm gonna give you guys a countdown, okay? All right. 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone. My name is Molly O'Malley, and this is Kira Halfman. And today we are very excited to be announcing the Cheer Her Name initiative here with the very own founder, Senior Deputy Director of Athletics, Missy Conboy. Thank you for joining us today, Missy.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to get this started. We know that you played basketball with the Irish from 1978 to 1982. So how has the landscape of women's athletics changed since then?
You would not recognize the landscape had you seen it back in 1978. When I came to Notre Dame, college athletics for women was in its infancy. Notre Dame hadn't had women before 1972, and we didn't really have varsity sports until the 75-76 academic year. So I was on only the second varsity basketball team at Notre Dame. We didn't have a lot of amenities. We didn't have a lot of support services. We used to get taped in the side room. We didn't get to go in the training room. We had to wait until after the men finished practice in order to go in. And if they went till 6:30, we went at 6:30. If they went till 8 o'clock, we went at 8 o'clock. We traveled by van. We stayed 4 to a room. We ate at McDonald's. Anything that is athletic performance related today was not available to us. You know, 2 sets of uniforms home and away, and we bought our own shoes until my junior year. So essentially, it was a Division III program my first 2 years, and then in 1980, when the NCAA began providing championships for women, we became a Division I program with the same team that it had essentially played at the Division III level.
Wow.
We started giving scholarships that year, and then got to witness some of the changes firsthand while I was in school, but I've certainly seen a lot of changes in the 40 years since then.
Sure, and to see where it's at now and how far it's come, and to say that you've been on the second team, that's incredible. So
I try not to tell people it was a second team because they think my talent level will be higher if I was on a more recent team, but we like to say that we laid the foundations way down in the basement for the success that they're having today.
How do you keep that in mind when forming initiatives like this?
Well, I think we want to make sure that the initiatives appeal to everyone, and I think it's natural that you're going to have a few more people who are really interested in an initiative like this from the early days, because there weren't the same means of keeping in touch with their teammates and keeping in touch with their classmates that you all have today. So when we were putting together the initiative, we were really trying to think of what will appeal to folks who participated all across the spectrum.
for sure. And what were your main goals of announcing this initiative?
So about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, when we were approaching the 50th year of coeducation at Notre Dame, Father John Jenkins, president at the time, put together a committee to look at how we would celebrate 50 years of coeducation, and at the same time wanted us to consider how we would celebrate 50 years of Title IX. Now, those two things weren't really that related. Notre Dame admitted women, but not because of Title IX, so we ended up separating those two celebrations. And for the 50th anniversary of coeducation, we did an event in conjunction with Reunion in 2022. And then in the fall of 2022, we actually did a celebration and awarded honorary monograms to about 250 individuals who had started the first clubs and interest groups at Notre Dame that turned into diverse varsity programs. And so it was a really cool occasion, but it was really focused on a very small group of women in the first 5 years of coeducation who really got athletics going.
Wow, I love that Cheer Her Name has kind of taken on a broader scope to that then. That's really important because, you've are championing all the women that have seen that really vast change. When I was watching the honorary at the last football game, it was amazing to see just the broad scope of athletes that we had. So what was it like bringing all those athletes back?
Well, we really were trying to think about how we could do this in a way that was going to be impactful to them. And a lot of the women that came back had never had an opportunity to do some of the things that we wanted to make available to them. So we started off on Friday. To walk you through it a little bit, we participated in the circle dedication, which honors 50
That
years
was
of
incredible.
education.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and so some of them were allowed to kind of be in the inner circle there and have a chance to be part of that ceremony. And then we partnered with Hesburgh Women of Impact, which is a benefaction group at the university, works with our development staff to have a welcome reception, fed right into the volleyball game, with Cheer Her Name game, where the players all wore the warm-ups with Cheer Her Name on them. And we did a private shopping experience that night at the varsity shop that they could go and buy merchandise if they want. We gave them a little gift, but they had an opportunity to buy a little bit more. And then on Saturday, it was a really impactful opportunity to have pregame with Pete. Pete's pregame, our athletic director, and he interviewed 3 of our alumni, student athlete alumni, Haley Scott DiMaria, who was a member of our swim team and who had been involved in the bus accident many years ago and is now an advocate and just a tremendous individual. And then Kate Markgraf, she had been on the Olympic soccer team and had 2 gold medals. And then Neil Ivey, who of course is both a national championship player and coach at Notre Dame. So that was awesome. And then we fed into a couple of other events, and then culminated on Sunday where we had a brunch in the stadium and allowed all of the women returning to bring their families down and have pictures with the Play Like a Champion sign and to run on the field and to just have a kind of a special moment in a special place that many of them had never had an opportunity to see before.
Right, and it was so cool to see all of those athletes come together and unite together for this celebration, especially at the main circle. Like, that was incredible.
And one thing that I failed to mention, one of the very cool opportunities was to be on the sidelines pregame. That's always something that's special if you've never done it before. A lot of the recruits today get a chance to do that during their official visit, but I would say 90% of the women returning hadn't been on the sidelines. And then to have Ruth Riley Hunter, who, all everything basketball player, national champion, All-American MVP of the Final Four, MVP of the WNBA, to be there to present the flag with all of these other women who were also student athletes with her on the sideline was really impactful.
Yeah, such a special moment and a core memory for all of those women involved. And inspiring for girls like us to see that too. And just know that what is capable and all those crazy, amazing things that happen and that they can be honored for.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. How can students kind of get involved and support this campaign? Because we see a lot of alumni support, like you'd mentioned, by them coming in town and participating in the wonderful weekend that you just described. So if I were a student and I wasn't following the campaign, how could I get involved and how can I just keep cheering her name?
I think one of the main things that we've tried to do is to do some things that would carry the celebration throughout the year. One of the main points of the celebration was recognition. So putting signage in our facilities, having a sizzle reel that can go on video boards, using graphics when we're before the sizzle reel in the hockey arena and in the basketball arena. And then giving gear to our student athletes. We wanted our student athletes to be able to walk across campus and represent, and both our male and female student athletes were each given a pullover piece, a hoodie and a hat, just so that they could represent on campus and give more recognition to the event. We really talked about whether we wanted to do a Cheer Her Name game for every sport, but then our SAC, our Student Athlete Advisory Council, got behind the idea, and they said they are already doing Irish on 3. So for the Irish on 3 games for each of the sports where student athletes try to go out and support their friends who are on other teams, they're going to use the Irish on 3 game as a Cheer Her Name game for each of those sports. So for those games, or also for just any women's game this year, we already have great student followings at sports like lacrosse. And women's basketball last year had a huge uptick in the number of students that started coming to games. So what we'd love to see is students using this as an opportunity to get to know what their classmates are doing, 30 hours a week sometimes, where they're traveling to on weekends, and I think they'll be so impressed by both the dedication and the skill level of all of our women's student athletes that we're hoping that our students just take the opportunity to get out to more games.
Absolutely.
For sure, and I see you've got some swag on today.
Swag on here.
Yes, I love it, and just the symbol, and I've seen it around campus as well. I've seen both guys and girls around campus wearing it, which I love to see, and people just even out like around Eddy Street and around campus, and it's so amazing that's what they're representing.
And one of the things we did when we did the logos, so this is on most of the men's logos, you'll see this one on the front. It's the ND with 13 shamrocks around it, representing each one of the 13 women's sports we currently sponsor.
I love that.
And then the Cheer Her Name, we really we worked with our branding office to get a logo that kind of had a little bit of a 70s lettering feel, the throwback green a little bit, kind of referring back to the years that the programs first started. Through to today, and vintage is back and retro's back, so it all seemed to fit in.
That's awesome. I love all the symbolism through that.
Yes.
It's really cool.
Yeah, the marketing major in me like lit up when you talked about all the behind the scenes on the branding, because you can tell it's a very thoughtful and just really well put together celebration, and it's just so clear that you have so much passion for it. And I know you were an athlete and you've seen how this landscape changed, but your resume in and of itself is just amazing of all the things that you've done. So
how'd you get my resume? I don't want anybody to see
well,
that.
not your resume, but we got to look
understand.
you up, and we were really just blown away by all the things that you've done. I mean, law school and being correct me if I'm wrong here, but you've really helped shape Title IX in the NCAA. Is that true? Right?
Well, that would be taking a lot of credit. What I've helped to do is probably implement and ensure that that we have equitable programs and opportunities for our male and female student athletes, and that's happened in a lot of different ways. As my job has changed through the years, I've had a chance to not only have a kind of a broad responsibility for equity and making sure everyone in our department is thinking about the decisions that they're making and are they equitable, but in other cases, I oversaw facilities for 15 years in capital projects, and I got to be part of this renovation, which was amazing. And
we love it.
Yes.
But if you ask me my favorite, I mean, I love the fact that I got to work on the house that Rockne built, and to make sure that everything we implemented was in keeping with the tradition, but was innovative. But my favorite project was probably the basketball practice facility of Rolf's Athletic Hall, because I got to make sure, having played at Notre Dame at a time that there wasn't great equity between men's and women's basketball, I got to go into that facility and make sure that every single aspect, whether it's a locker room or the video room or the team room or the strength and conditioning space or the courts, that everything for both genders was absolutely equal. And I joked and said I actually made it a little unequal on the women's side because they had more national championship floors to put on the walls. So maybe I spent a little bit more money on theming there. But the goal was really to make sure that both genders were treated absolutely.
And just the selflessness to go from like what you had experienced when you were here and to give the girls now and the women athletics here such a bigger opportunity, and all these, things that they can use, all these facilities is actually so amazing. So.
Well, I mean, to have a chance to be a part of Notre Dame athletics I'm in my 39th year now, and not counting my 4 years as an undergraduate. So it's been an amazing experience, and really to raise my family around. I have 3 daughters, and to have them be able to come with me to whether it's bowl games or national championship games or just practices or banquets, academic awards, has given them such incredible role models, and 2 of them became athletes here themselves, so that student athletes here themselves, so it's the pay it forward, and it comes back to benefit you, and it certainly has with my family.
For sure. And I know you've talked a lot about all your different roles here and all the things you've done for Notre Dame Athletics. And now as your role as Senior Deputy of Director Athletics, how has that played into the equity and inclusion that you're?
Yeah, so I would say it's kind of a daily task, and I don't mean it as a task, but it's something that we think about often, whether we are in the budgeting cycle and we're deciding how we're going to travel this team and this team, how many charters the women take versus the men, What's the access to game times and practice times? What type of Under Armour apparel is being given to each gender? Sometimes it might not seem like the exact same, but sometimes women's product is more expensive than men's product, or men go through more shoes than women. So it's always a balancing act. But I think one of the things that I really enjoy doing is getting a chance to work with all my colleagues in athletics, and really saying to them, this is not my job to enforce this. This is all of our jobs to enforce it. We're at a school that's almost 50% female right now, and we should be really careful about making decisions about how we're dividing resources between men and women.
I love that. Yeah, you're just setting such a strong precedent too for the future, because you're really blazing a trail here. We can really feel the just intentional focus on women's athletics, and whether it's because the team is successful or not, it's just, I think students are really careful to kind of recognize both teams and really champion the women's just as much as they've seen the men's championed. So what does that look like when you're envisioning the next couple of years? Because you've blazed this trail now, you have this amazing celebration this year, but when you're looking into the next few years for athletics, what do you envision?
Well, it's a real crazy time in college athletics right now.
Yes.
And there are a lot of changes that are going on. There are changes with the NCAA. There's potential legislation on Capitol Hill to address some of the craziness out there. States are getting involved and passing their own legislation. And it's always been the role of the NCAA and to create a level playing field so that everybody's playing by the same rules. And right now, it's hard to say that everybody's playing by the same rules. There's changes due to the House settlements where you're able to, engage in some compensation cap money for student athletes. And so, in light of all of that, I think Olympic sports, men's and women's, are fearful as to what those changes through lawsuits and through legislation are going to do for the resources for those programs.
Yeah.
So it's really important that we continue to decide how we want to support all of our athletic programs and our women's athletics programs in a way that gears young women for success in the future. I think the whole reason you have an athletic program at a university should be to build future leaders and to give them the lessons and the experiences that they get through athletics to help them in the next stage of their life. And I think if you look at the statistics and the studies, that the number of women in the C-suites, a huge percentage of them are former college athletes or former high school athletes or club athletes, and it gives young women a confidence and in the leadership qualities they really need to be successful in certain businesses. And so, so we think it's very important to continue that. I do want to say that when I first got into this business, I was the only female in the department, really, and I was very intent on having responsibilities that involved both men's and women's athletics, and that was just so important to me. But as time went on, I realized that while I still loved having responsibilities with both genders, that young women on our teams were more likely to come and ask me questions about how do you balance career and family, or how did you navigate this, that, or the other thing. And you realize that you're in a much better position potentially to mentor, not that I haven't mentored young men too, but to mentor young women, particularly young women who might be interested into entering this profession. So, I wanted to just say, I get to look at athletics through the lens of both genders, but I just have a really soft spot for our female athletes and how I can be a mentor and a helper to them as they look to navigate next steps.
That is so special, and to have someone like you who really embraces being a leader, because as a former female athlete in high school and just throughout all my childhood, being an athlete has taught me how to be a leader. And honestly, just being here as well, and special mentors like you have been to these women in sports, that means so much to them. And I know that not only inspiring them, but also being there and guiding them along their journey is something that's just so incredible. So.
Well, they mentor us too. I mean, I look at what you all are doing, and I also look at our student athletes who've gotten involved with social media, and they're so great with technology. And a lot of times we'll use show me how to do something, because I don't know how to do it because it wasn't around when I was a
crazy
student.
evolving world.
We can teach each other. There's a lot to be learned both ways.
Definitely, for sure. And just knowing too, like someone like you, knowing that these women aren't just athletes, but they're people, and they're going to have amazing careers as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So looking kind of into the future and right now, how can the Cheer Her Name relate to the greater goal of Notre Dame being a force for good, and more specifically this year, cultivating hope?
Well, I think the more exposure we give women's athletics, the more the women on our teams get an opportunity to take advantage of all the resources we give them to navigate the next step. But they're also an incredible inspiration to young women in the community, their classmates, their dorm mates. And to people like my children who grew up in that environment and want to emulate what they saw. And so I think as far as hope, I think it gives, I think our student athletes give hope and pay it forward every day through charitable activities and educational activities. And I think that the beneficiaries are the communities that support those women. And so I think that's kind of a hope story in and of itself.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I love that it keeps coming back to that, is the idea of paying it forward, taking your own experience and your teammates' experience and your peers' experience from your time here as a student athlete and kind of implementing those changes and these new initiatives and these celebrations to just really champion and instill confidence in this generation of leaders and athletes and everything like that. So your work is incredible.
Well, and one of the other things I didn't mention, I think I said recognition is one piece of the celebration, engagement, the weekend celebration is another big piece. The third is to generate revenue, and I say that in a very kind of big picture way. We're in the middle of a campaign at Notre Dame to endow coaches, to endow scholarships, to endow facilities, all of those things. And having this celebration helps shed light on some of the needs that we have within athletics, and to get benefactors interested in meeting these young women and getting excited about supporting them. And even the women who came back for the celebration, we gave them an option. We didn't charge them to come back, but we gave them an option if they wanted to give a gift to celebrate the next 50 years of women's athletics. And a very high percentage of them gave back. And so, and getting young women interested in how do I pay it forward. And sometimes it is through writing a check, and sometimes it is through being a mentor, and sometimes we always talk about, use your talent or treasure. There's numerous ways to give, and we tell our student athletes that all the time, but we tell our donors that too, and we tell our alumni that. So I think one of the things we're trying to teach those alumni coming back is you can do something for the women. You can pay it forward too, and repay the benefit that you got while you were a student athlete.
It's amazing. Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like that's all we have.
Okay.
We're so thankful for you and your story. No,
we're so
it was
grateful
wonderful.
for your time and just to hear all more about Cheer Her Name, and we're going to keep cheering her name all year long, and just to really dive into those deep details and really the nitty-gritty of what Cheer Her Name means. We really appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. We're so thankful for your insight. It's been great to hear all about it. Cool. Great. Thank you.
That was amazing.
Did you? Okay.